Hi, my name is Nick Russo, Senior Service Provider Solution Architect with TrendAI, working closely with our service provider partners and their journey in TrendAI Vision One. As part of new features being introduced to Vision One for service providers, administrators can now update systems currently protected by the WorryFree endpoint product to Vision One Endpoint Security from the platform. In this video, we'll cover the steps necessary to prepare for the update process and how to complete the update. Every XSP environment is different, and although the process we're going to outline in this video may seem straightforward, there are considerations prior to updating from WorryFree to Vision One Endpoint Security that need to be accounted for. There's documentation that can be shared from your account manager related to the update process which outlines these considerations. Please reach out to discuss this with us further, and we'll be glad to assist in preparing for the update. Next, I want to point out that it is advised to create endpoint security policy templates from the Vision One for Service Providers console that can be pushed to downstream customers that you plan to update to Vision One Endpoint Security. There are two videos linked in the description below that walk through the process of defining those templates and how to assign them to customers. Once you've defined these policy templates, we can move on to the next step of provisioning a Vision One tenant for the customer to be updated. The second step in this update process after defining a policy template is to identify which customer in WorryFree will be updated to Vision One Endpoint Security. Once that end customer has been identified, we'll start by provisioning a Vision One tenant for that customer if one does not already exist. In the Vision One for Service Providers console, navigate to Customer Management and then Customer Overview. In the list of customers on this page, find the customer to be updated and click the Provision link. I'm going to choose Paid License for the customer, and the tenant begins to provision. Once this provisioning process is completed, the status will change to a view link for that customer in the TrendAI Vision One status column. Now that we have a tenant, we'll need to create a standard endpoint protection instance within that tenant, which will provide us the ability to deploy Vision One Endpoint Security as part of the update process. Click the view link on the customer overview page for the customer for which we previously provisioned a Vision One tenant, and in the end customer's Vision One tenant, navigate to Service Management and then Product Instance. Click the Create Product Instance button, then choose Standard Endpoint Protection. Give the instance a name, and select the region from the drop-down menu, then click Save. This process can take approximately 20 minutes to complete. Once the product instance has been provisioned, we'll apply the endpoint policy template that was created at the beginning of the video to the customer's tenant. In the Customer Overview page, find the customer where the template will be applied, click the button with 3 dots to the far right in the list, choose Assign Template, then Endpoint Policy Template. The groups for that end customer's Vision One tenant will load, and we can expand the standard endpoint protection tree all the way down to Work Group. Check the box next to that group, then click Apply Endpoint Policy Template. Select the endpoint policy from the group, then click Assign. We will now identify the WorryFree protected systems that are eligible for update to Vision One Endpoint Security. In the Vision One for Service Provider console, we'll navigate to Security Solutions, then Endpoint Inventory. On this initial page, we have a list of all end customers that have Vision One tenants created. A new column has been added to this page labeled WorryFree Update Recommended, and in this column, there will be a number that represents the number of computers that are recommended to be updated. If the Vision One tenant for your customer was just provisioned, it could take a short period of time for this number to update, as there is a background process that will push the Vision One Endpoint Basecamp to WorryFree protected systems that allows for the update process to take place. Endpoint Basecamp is a utility that facilitates communication with Vision One and will be a key component in this update process. If you click the number in the WorryFree Update Recommended column, we'll be pushed to the Endpoints tab with a list of computers that can be updated. Select the checkbox next to each machine you would like to update, then click the Update WorryFree Agent button. If this is the first update that's being initiated for a customer, you'll be presented with a screen detailing certain considerations prior to starting the update. Review this information and then select the I understand checkbox and click Accept. Next, you'll be presented with a screen listing the computers that can be updated, and if there are any systems that cannot be updated, there will be a notification next to those systems. If you hover over the marker, there will be a reason listed, and it's helpful to collect that info for support engagement. Not all systems may immediately be available for update, as there are prerequisites for the update, such as a supported WorryFree agent version, operating system platform, and other considerations. Refer to our FAQ document that was provided by your account manager for additional details. Select the endpoint group that we applied the endpoint policy template to in one of the previous steps, then click the Update button. A notification will be presented in the bottom right corner indicating that the update process has started and to allow approximately 30 minutes for the process to complete. Depending on network bandwidth, computer performance, and other variables, the process may be completed much sooner than 30 minutes. To confirm that the update was successful, or to monitor the status, navigate to the endpoint inventory for the customer and check the Protection Manager column. When complete, the name will change from WorryFree Services to the name of the Protection Manager you provided when creating the standard endpoint protection instance. For any systems that may encounter a problem during the update process, a notification will be marked like the one I'm showing on the screen now with more information. I'd like to make a few suggestions once the update is complete and endpoints are now protected with Vision One Endpoint Security. It's important to ensure you're receiving the proper notifications from your customers' environments, and in Vision One, there are 3 key notification options available. Sign in to the customer's Vision One tenant, then navigate to Administration, then Notifications. The 3 alert types to review here are Endpoint Security Alerts, Endpoint System Alerts, and Workbench Alert. The first 2 are similar to those granular alert settings that you may be familiar with in WorryFree. Each of these alert types has a watch list that can be configured to only send those alerts that you're interested in receiving. For those customers where you may enable the XDR sensor, Workbench Alert will send a notification when an AI-correlated insight with unified attack information is generated. We've now successfully completed the steps necessary to update a WorryFree Services protected endpoint to TrendAI Vision One Endpoint Security. If you have any questions related to the steps provided in this video, or if our team can aid with any of the modernization options available for WorryFree customers, reach out to your account manager and we'd be glad to help. Thank you for watching this video, and we look forward to continuing with you on your journey in TrendAI Vision One.